our vision at Chainlink Labs and what we hope Chainlink will do is build a world powered by truth. So we've done some work internally to solidify in the simplest terms possible what it is that we're doing, what we're hoping to achieve with the Chainlink open source project and community and network. And this is what we're hoping to achieve. We're hoping to build a world powered by truth, specifically cryptographic truth, but really to build a world powered by truth. As you can tell, this is rooted in our fundamental belief that truth is better than false, paper-based trust, right? So if you have the truth, you can build systems around it. If you have to just trust some paper promise, some institution, some whatever, that is strictly worse. That is inferior. So truth is greater than trust. That's what we mean when we have this statement. This is at the core of our fundamental belief system. And how we're seeking to achieve this is to build decentralized systems that link everything to truth, creating a fair, unbiased world. So that's fundamentally what Chainlink Labs does. That's what the Chainlink network will hopefully achieve, is become a set of decentralized systems that link everything to truth, creating a fair, unbiased world. And that is going to be a world that's much better to live in for everybody. For developed markets, because there aren't just a small number of people that can just take money from society and everybody else, and in emerging markets, because they'll finally have access to agreements and contracts and capabilities that they never had access to before. So this, I think, is a very worthwhile goal that we have. This is how we're approaching it. And I just thought in the first few minutes of the presentation would be useful for everybody to get on the same page of why this is important, how we're seeking to achieve this, and what it is that our fundamental beliefs are in terms of what we're working on, and ideally, I think also in this industry. How is this achieved? So this is achieved through creating more and more advanced hybrid smart contracts, right? So something that people, I think, need to understand is that the more advanced smart contracts become, the more industries, the more use cases, the deeper into existing industries technology from our industry goes. The more smart contracts can do, the more blockchains are involved in the financial kind of world. The more blockchains and smart contracts can do, the greater share of gaming is powered by them. The more smart contracts and blockchains can do, the more of the insurance world is powered by them. This is what we're doing. We are seeking to extend and augment and improve and enable and help build an entirely new, more advanced class of smart contracts that extend what blockchains and smart contract platforms like Ethereum and others are used for across many industries. And this will massively expand the pie. It'll grow the pie, it'll grow the market, it'll grow what our industry is about, and it'll make blockchains and smart contracts the source of cryptographic truth for how the world operates. And that's our fundamental goal, to transition the world from a paper promises, just trust us, hopefully it's going to work out model, to the cryptographic truth model that, in my opinion, requires smart contracts to be able to meet the operational demands of the financial industry, the insurance industry, the gaming industry, and all subsequent industries, where it will fundamentally change how they operate. Now, this works on three fundamental levels. You have the blockchain, which is kind of the root of cryptographic truth and trust that secures the state, secures the truth, secures the trust dynamic of the state changes. You have the off-chain world of trust minimized off-chain computation in the form of decentralized oracle networks, which is what Chainlink specializes in. And then you have the world of existing systems, existing services, data providers, existing backends, existing payment systems, all the world's existing infrastructure for data, payments, backend computation, backend systems control, access control, so on and so on. Now, we in our model have divided up the off-chain portion of the world into three distinct categories, which I will be going through today. The first category is off-chain data, the second is off-chain compute, and the third is cross-chain compute. In terms of what this actually means, you already see all of this happening. So you already see multiple off-chain services powering DeFi, powering gaming, powering wrapped assets like WBTC. You basically already see the ability to provide price feeds, weather data, proof of reserves, random number generation to various protocols that all then interoperate with each other, you see their existence appearing because you have these services. So I'm very, very proud to say that our many long nights of effort and work by everybody here in the Chainlink ecosystem has already resulted in a significant change in our industry, has already resulted in a significant improvement of what our industry does, and has already grown DeFi well past what it was when we started, and is now growing other sectors of the blockchain economy by allowing people like weather insurance, insurtechs, and gaming companies, and custody providers to join into the benefits of using cryptographic truth in blockchains. And DeFi is just the initial example of this, which is really just getting going. But if you look at the model is multiple off-chain services being used by on-chain contracts that interoperate with each other to create really advanced applications, which then go into these finance industries, insurance industries, gaming industries, global trade industries, and begin to redefine those industries and begin to pull more and more value, more and more contractual transactional volume into the contracts, because the contracts can finally service the requirements of that industry, thanks to this combination of off-chain systems together with on-chain advanced code, which is enabled by the off-chain systems. So we are already doing this, and we're very, very proud of that, and I think we should be very proud of that. Our fundamental goal is to create a global standard for enabling cryptographic truth by augmenting blockchains, improving what blockchains do, enabling blockchains to be more useful, enabling smart contracts to do more. In the history of global standards, I think you see a very useful pattern in that HTTPS, as an example, what is it built on? It's built on being an open source standard that had the first best technology, that was built on superior security, and now it services most web traffic. Similar story with Linux. Open source standard, innovative first mover, built on better security, services most web servers. With Chainlink, what we are working on diligently and kind of feverishly at this point is making sure that it's the global open source standard. We are clearly the innovative first mover that's actually accelerated certain industries like DeFi into what it is today. We are definitely built on better security based on the preference that everybody has in using our data and our other services. And as you can see, we service more smart contracts and are rapidly adding to that list. So our fundamental goal is to create a global standard that will change the way that our industry is used, improve society, improve how the world works, and write our name into history in the process, just like HTTP is, just like Linux. That is our fundamental goal. That is the kind of journey that we're on. That's what we're focused on doing. Luckily for us, we have the resources to do that. We have over 250 people working on that at Chainlink Labs, and lots of other people and lots of other teams building that. And we have a huge community of users and node operators and other really smart people collaborating to make that happen. But that is the fundamental goal of Chainlink, to become the global open source standard for how cryptographic truth is enabled on top of blockchains, on top of smart contracts, to make blockchains and smart contracts useful for the larger world. And there is certainly a lot that they are useful for. If this is interesting to you and you're interested in solving these types of problems, and you can see that cryptographic truth is the future of how the world will work, I encourage you to contact us. We work with people all over the world. We work with people in every country in the world. We want to work with you to make sure that your insight, your talent, your belief, your interest in generating cryptographic truth and making the world work in this way is something we can collaborate with you on. We have over 250 people right now at Chainlink Labs, some of the most amazing, most impressive people I've ever met in my life. And we're growing rapidly to help enable this together with many other teams in the Chainlink ecosystem. And I encourage you to join those teams or to join us and to really examine if changing the way the world works by making it run on cryptographic truth is something that you find interesting. And if that is an idea that you find interesting, and if you have a desire to work on that, whether you work in research or engineering or marketing or sales or operations, there are teams in our ecosystem that want to work with you, that are growing rapidly due to the demand that the Chainlink system and networks are experiencing. And we want to hear from you, and we want to work with you. in a very collaborative, fast-moving, impactful environment.